What I'm going to do today is to give you a quick recap. What are we up to and what are our main goals? On this slide, you can see the people who have been working on the global forecasting school. And one important thing about global forecasting school that we all have to understand is that its core mission is to actually develop a better policy, better monetary policy frameworks. To achieve that mission, the core value that we have is collaboration. This is a key because you can see on the screen many people from very different places. And on this call, we have people from different places. Most of them are young people from different institutions who are just starting their careers. And the goal that we have set for us, which is making monetary policy better around the world, is not an easy task. But what we're going to show in the global forecasting school, that with these young people, if you collaborate and you have a core mission, it is actually possible to do that. So that is what I'm going to try to show you, a result of our work for last couple of months. Now, another set of pictures, a bit older, lots of gentlemen in wigs, which are also very, very closely connected to the global forecasting school. On the bottom right hand, you can see Johann Bernoulli. This gentleman is very famous for his mathematics in the 17th and 18th century. But one thing we like him is this particular problem, which is called brachistochrome problem. So the essence of this problem, which Johann Bernoulli said for the mathematicians of his time, was to determine what is the quickest path to get from point A to point B, where you just throw a ball there. Now, the answer to this question is very, very counterintuitive, because most of the people would think it's just a straight line. But the real answer to this question is actually not a straight line, but it's the red line, which you can see on this picture. This is what we call a zip line. The relation of this with the global forecasting school is that what we are set to do, we want to go to point B, which is better forecasting and policy analysis system for the world. So we want to see what is the best around the world right now, and we want to make it better. Now, the reason we want to have the zip line, because this is actually a very scary endeavor. So you actually need to do the first step, which is the quick acceleration step in the red line to get to the point B. So this is in essence what we are up to in the global forecasting school. So we want you to take the first step with us. So that is the goal of my presentation today, to make sure that you want to get on the zip line with us today. But this is the main point. Now, of course, there should be a good reason why do we want to change the forecasting and policy analysis system. And I think first to tell you why do we need to do this. I think the first thing I need to tell you is just to say, first of all, what is the current status quo? What is the current forecasting and policy analysis system? Now, if you look at the good forecasting and policy analysis system now, which we call forecasting and FPAS Mark 1, we think of it as having three important ingredients. Ingredient number one, any policy analysis, monetary policy analysis system, which takes its job seriously, has to communicate these three things to the market and has to have these three things embedded in its framework. Where is the economy now? So what are the initial conditions? What are the main drivers of the economy in the medium run? And third, what are the main policy instruments? What do we need to do with the policy instruments to bring inflation back to the target? So what we argue is that these 3 points are essential in any forecasting and policy analysis system. Now, so why do we need to change any of this? So what's the big picture? No, so now on this table, what we have to do is is I show you three evolution of the forecasting and policy analysis systems around the world. So these are top three rows, and then you can see that on the left hand side are the dimensions that we think are important to change the current system. Now, the first row, which is the three ingredients of FPAS, which I just mentioned, this is just the absolute necessary thing for any good monetary policy framework. What we argue, and David will talk about this in more details, is there are at least three additional things that we think currently good monetary policy framework needs to have. Number one, it needs to be able to deal with uncertainty. Uncertainty is something which is with us always, lately, during last couple of decades, especially during last several years. The size of uncertainty is only increasing. So our policy frameworks have to be able to deal with this issue. And here scenario analysis is of course key. Second, avoiding dark corners and least regrets policy, which is the risk management approach to the monetary policy, is something we think is important, because in the midst of this uncertainty, it is very difficult to guess what's going to happen to the economy. So naturally, smart strategy for monetary policy is to actually try to keep the economy out of the dark corners. And the last one, which has to do with the accountability and transparency, is the way that we organize the process and the communication of the central bank, so that the accountability and transparency are organized in a way so that for the board members, the incentives are to produce their best, which will also maximize their reputation. So what we call is a reputational equilibrium. Okay. So I'm going to talk about why is this important. So we were working on this issue in the Global Forecasting School for the last several months. And together, I'm hoping to, after my presentation, to fill this table and talk about, which of these frameworks have all these four components that I'm talking about.